Contrary to popular belief, the solar install is not the end of the solar installation process or the relationship with your solar installer. There are a number of key documents needed to collect and a number of steps that still have to happen before your system goes online. So this guide is going to walk you through what those documents are that you need to have to protect yourself. And if you're a solar installer, what are the documents you need to make sure that you guys keep on file and you make sure you send to your customer so the proper expectations are set and everyone has everything they need. So first and foremost, what happens after the installation? Well, almost every single system is going to require an inspection of some kind. This inspection happens from the local authority having jurisdiction, or AHJ. It's typically going to be a city or a town. Whoever the person is who likely give you the permit is going to have to inspect it. In a few rare cases, there are no inspections, but that's really if you're just out kind of in the boonies. So the inspection is going to be typically looking at the electrical system, make sure that everything is correctly connected. If there's bonding required for like water meters or something like that, make sure all of that is done. I personally have had inspectors too who got up on the roof and took their tape measure out and measured the setbacks to make sure that we were within regulation there. So a lot can happen. Once that inspection passes though, then you can move on to the next step. But if the inspection does not pass, the solar installer has to then come back out and fix whatever it is. I've seen things as small as putting stickers in the right places to as large as having to redo some electrical work. Now, assuming the system passes though, then your installer can submit for permission to operate, or PTO. That's with the utility. They send them that pass inspection report, and then the utility reviews it, takes sometimes anywhere from a few days to a few weeks to approve that PTO, and then the system can go online. That's when it starts producing energy. And that is where you need to make sure that you start collecting documents and getting all the ducks in a row with solar installer. So first and foremost is going to be monitoring access. Your solar installer is going to be responsible for setting up monitoring access for you. In a few rare cases, some installers do have their own monitoring platforms, but in most cases, that monitoring comes from the manufacturer of the inverter. So like SolarEdge, Enphase, Generac, Tesla, they're going to have their own monitoring platform that your solar installer will go into, set up your whole account, put in your information for your system, tie in any of the equipment so it can monitor properly, and then send you a registration request. You get an email, you can set up your portal, download a phone app, and then you can go. Monitoring is essential to make sure you not only have, but also look at. Too many solar customers don't look at the monitoring at all. And the monitoring not just tells you how much power is being produced, but also gives you alerts to your system. So if something is broken, it's not working, you can know from there. So as far as the documents you need to collect, there are a few important documents you should make sure you have to have. Number one is the contract. Whatever your purchase or lease contract was, you have to have that with you. That's going to give you all of the terms and conditions that you legally are abiding by and the company you work with is legally going to be abiding by, as well as it's going to give you that final cost. Now, if you purchase your system, you can use the cost that's on your contract or your financing paperwork, which we'll talk about in a little bit, for your federal tax credit. If you lease the system, you don't get any sort of federal tax credit, but that documentation is going to have the lease rate and the escalation that's applied to it. So having that on file is just going to make sure that you are all up to date with what's going on in case there are any discrepancies that happen. Your contract is probably also going to contain some information about the production of your system and any warranties as well, like workmanship warranties that are coming from the installer. So it's good to have that stuff in case something arises, you know what they're going to cover and what they're not going to cover. Second is the approved permit plan set from the city. Now, in order to get the permit to install your solar installer will have had to submit a permit packet plan that's got electrical documents, wiring diagrams, data sheets for your equipment. It's got all kinds of information, and it has the stamp from the city that says it's legally approved. This is really good to have just to A, prove that your system has went through all the processes to be installed, and B, it has that electrical information and information for your roof, how it's attached, so that if, God forbid, your solar installer went out of business, you'd be able to provide that documentation to a new servicer or service provider or installer, and then they can know what's going on with your system so they can properly give you service too. While we're talking about warranty documentation too, make sure that you get the warranty docs and the data sheets for the equipment you have installed. This is going to include the panels, the inverter, potentially even the racking, although that's, it's just aluminum pipes up on your roof, so it's not really super important to have the data sheets. But if you can collect everything and anything possible that's got your warranty information from the manufacturers and you know what the equipment is. Too many times I ran into homeowners of mine who years down the road had no idea what was on their roof. So just having that information gives you a great idea of what's going on. It's It's also important to have the warranty information because the warranties with the manufacturer equipment and the workmanship from your installer are completely separate. In the majority of cases, your installer is not warranting the actual panels or the inverter that are on your house. They're only warranting the work that they did. So you have to make sure you have both of this documentation so that you can have all that warranty coverage possible and you know what's going on. Now, as I mentioned before, it's also good to have any financing information. So if you did take out a loan for your system, have the documents you had to sign that show all the finance numbers because that'll have your total finance amount you could potentially use for a tax credit, or it'll also have the contact information of the financier. If you have any issues with payment, you're going to have to contact the financing loan company as opposed to your solar installer because they're the ones who are actually handling anything on the payment side. If your local area or utility has any incentives specific to you as well, get any paperwork that goes along with that. I know I used to work in Illinois and we had to file a bunch of other paperwork along with any of the permit plan documents in order to get incentives. So keep all that information on hand as well, just so you can make sure that you, and not only it's been filed, but you have that information. So if there are any discrepancies that come up, you have that. This can include stuff from your local utility. It includes state incentives, anything that is relevant to any money you might potentially be getting for your system. Keep all that on hand. And of course, if it comes to tax incentives, make sure you talk to a tax professional so they can give you the best advice possible for your specific situation. Of course, you also want to make sure you have a copy of the final proposal that you got. The contract is going to supersede anything that's on that proposal, but it's important to have that just so you know what the expectations were supposed to be going into it. Your proposal is going to have an estimated layout that your sales rep probably put together. It's going to have production information and a couple other pieces that might be helpful just to have on hand so you can make sure that things are on the up and up. And lastly, of course, get a contact list for your solar installer. The sales rep is probably not the person you're going to talk to when it comes to maintenance or the person you're going to talk to when it comes to incentives. So if you get a contact list of who your sales rep was, who you're working with, who any maintenance numbers you have to contact, maybe the accounting or payment departments, just get a contact list from your installer of who you should contact and in what circumstances. Keeping all the documentation that we talked about is really important, goes a super long way in protecting yourself as a homeowner. And if you're a solar installer, it does a lot in protecting your company and setting proper expectations to give your homeowner that 5-star experience. Solar is a long-term investment. It's going to be on your roof for 25 years or even more. So it can be very easy to forget the equipment that you have or how the system was set up or what the expectations were. So keep that stuff on file, whether on your computer or printed in a file folder, and you should make sure that you are protected for the long term. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out some of our other videos about homeowner tips to enhance your system. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe.